Hey guys, it's Lucky One from Quantum Connections, where you get your truth frequency news. I was really saddened by what happened last night. Soon after my show, our president has decided to bomb the shit out of Syria. That's what he's done. What he has done, and what I did is I decided to keep copies of the stuff that's going on in Twitter and everything. I was watching Facebook also, but I just decided to keep it all on Twitter and show you all what it's like to be me for a little while when the shit hits the fan in any form or fashion or whatever. So I hope you can take this and get to see what goes on in here. This is just a brief glimpse of what is really, I actually had like 45 minutes, 50 minutes of tweeting work going on and following all the leads and such, and listening to the different news media outlets about this bombardment or Tomahawk missile strike against al-Shirat. Okay. I am very upset about this. I'm still upset about this, and it was pretty raw last night. We supported a guy who's a warmonger. He's just like Hillary. I'm really sad about this. What's happened? Here it is. Well, it is right now 2 o'clock in the morning. I can't sleep. I'm upset. I already got sick a couple of times because our new president has decided to be a warmonger. He is now a warmonger. It's official. He just sent the missile strike into Syria, striking that air base that supposedly sent chemical weapons and killed, contaminated a lot of people. Anyway, now Syria had already turned over all of their chemical weapons for destruction. It was verified by the UN, and it was verified by the chemical weapons organizations that monitor such things. Anyway, years ago, Donald Trump said, this is Donald Trump, and here I'll click on this so you can see that's Donald Trump. All right. He said in 2013, September 3rd, 2013, what I'm saying is stay out of Syria. And he said that. And then he followed up with on the 5th of September 2013, again, to a very foolish leader, do not attack Syria. If you do, many very bad things will happen. And from that fight, the U.S. gets nothing. And they've been wanting this stuff to happen. They've been carrying on and on and on about this chemical attack, knowing darn well that, if I can research this stuff, these people at CNN, MSNBC, all these mainstream media outlets, they've got the resources to do more research than even I can do. Okay, they've got people on the ground all over the world. They have the resources to do better research and find the information better than I can. And if I'm able to find this information, then they can. This is ridiculous. Anyway, so to be clear, Trump has launched missiles on a secular government which protects Christians and minorities, defends its people against terrorism, which is true. Meanwhile, our anti-war president, who is National Security Administration and CIA spied on, is going to war based on evidence from a CIA proxy force. Couldn't make this up, which is true. And I ask how many people are throwing up right now, finding out that Trump is just another Hillary. Hillary called on, Spicier, of course, said this. Not Sean Spicer, but Spicier. Hillary called on America to take out Assad's Air Force. America calls on Hillary to shut up. Well, Trump does what Hillary says do, evidently. Now, the coincidence. 100-year anniversary of World War I. I hope the people can see that we're being used by evil skanks, okay? Surely POTUS knew this history. April 6, 1917 was when the nation was drawn into World War I on the side of the Allies. The United States of America entered the conflict 2.5 years after the war had begun in July 28, 1914, and declared war on Germany in April 6, 1917. Here we are, April 6, 2017, and we're bombing Assad. We salute, this is what they say, okay, McCain and Graham, okay? We salute the skill and professionalism of the U.S. Armed Forces who carried out tonight's strikes in Syria. Acting on the orders of their commander-in-chief, they have sent an important message. The United States will no longer stand idly by as Assad, aided and abetted by Putin's Russia, slaughters innocent Syrians with chemical weapons and barrel bombs. Now, all this time, McCain and Graham, both treating Trump like some kind of like piece of crap. Okay. Now all of a sudden they're all chesty and puffed up about their commander in chief. They're disgusting. I'm sorry, they're disgusting. They continue. Unlike previous administration, President Trump confronted a pivotal moment in Syria and took action. For that, he deserves the support of the American people. Oh, not because he follows through on campaign promises. Not because he seems to be humane and he's doing good things for women in business and stuff. Not because he wants to repeal the Obamacare Act. Not because that was one of the first actions he did was to start working on the repeal of the Obamacare Act. Okay. Not because he's assigning a constitutional judge such as Gorsuch to the Supreme Court. Okay. But because he did a missile strike against Syria that McCain, we all know, has been involved in their destruction since it started. Okay. But now he deserves the support of the American people. Building on tonight's credible first step, we must finally learn the lessons of history and ensure that tactical success leads to strategic progress. Tactical success means ownership of the land. Lessons of history is that, hey, history repeats itself and you're doomed to repeat it if you don't know it. And strategic progress. Oh, yeah. It's going to be our way, man. That's what strategic progress is. That means following through with a new comprehensive strategy. In other words, all-inclusive. Everything's going to be considered in this strategy in coordination with our allies and partners. Well, guess who that means? Come on, surely you know folks out there who that is? Israel. Yes. Israel, to end the conflict in Syria. That means destroy it. The first new measure in such a strategy must be to take Assad's air force, so they can't defend themselves, which is responsible not just for the latest chemical weapons attack, but countless atrocities against the Syrian people. You mean ISIS and those mercenaries that's been over there fighting for ISIS, completely out of the fight. We must also bolster support for the vetted Syrian opposition. The vetted Syrian opposition? Oh, it's okay to have vetted Syrian opposition, but not vetting at our borders when these so-called refugees are coming into our country, right? Right? Okay. And establish safe zones to address the ongoing humanitarian crisis. You mean so that U.S. aid can fund more Al-Qaeda and ISIS and Daesh? As we do, we can and must continue the campaign to achieve ISIS's lasting defeat. There's supporting ISIS. Remember all the Toyota trucks, the white pickup trucks that were being sent over there to support ISIS? And it came from America. They got the information. They found out that it came from America. What the ever-loving hell is going on? Oh my gosh. And don't be fooled. Let me tell you what's going on here too. In the Golan Heights, there is oil fields out there they discovered. And Genie Oil Company, which is owned by whom? Cheney and other good parties, okay, they have access to that oil now that Assad is being squashed down. Please know that this is about G-O-D, God. Think about it, gold, oil, drugs. We take their gold when we find it. The troops are over there grabbing the gold and throwing it into the whatever, and it's getting shipped back to the United States. Oil, all our oil companies are going in there and our oil interests are going in there. Taking the oil. We want to make sure that it's cheaper. What? DAFAQ. Okay. Wow. And Trump is receiving the best night of press so far, and all he had to do was start a war. Absolute truth. Now, this is a picture. The Americans are saying that they're targeting a chemical factory or stock in Al-Sharat Airport. Did they think about these villages around the bases? And I checked it myself later on. I checked those. There's more villages. It's not just these three. We got a puppy and she's shaking. Excuse. There's more down here in this area down here too. And little ones that's even closer. This does not do it justice. They should have zoomed in better because there's more little ones around it. So if there's chemical weapons, if these people here had chemicals and they took off from this flight line to go bomb someplace else, actually Idlib, which is up this way. If that's what they did, then there's more chemicals on this base. So they're bombing. We're sending 50 to 59 Tomahawks through there and bomb the ever-loving shit out of this place. Now, do you think that those chemicals are going to stay nice and stay put in those containers that they're in while they're being blasted by tomahawks? No, they're going to blow up. They're going to blow up, and the wind is going to go which direction? We don't know. It could go north. It could go south, east. What women? Actually, that's north, I think. This here is north, I believe. North, east, south, west. It could blow any which way, and those people will get contaminated. As you can see also, take a look at this. This is hydrated area. This is farmland. That's farmland, folks. These are pastures and farmland. All right? That's going to be destroyed. Moving on. So, the USA was not attacked. Why are we attacking Syria? That's a good question. Why are we attacking Syria? CNN was talking live 3 hours ago on air. Well, we're wondering who's going to replace Assad. Who's going to replace Assad? They've been wanting to replace him for a long time. MSM's fake news and the MIC wins. Great job, Trump. POTUS did not check your sources. You have either been lied to, or you're colluding with the criminals, or you're buying support by the DC insiders, the Beltway. Now, Trump accused Obama of this very thing in Syria. Now that Obama's poll numbers are in tailspin, watch for him to launch a strike in Libya or Iran. He is desperate. Mike Cernovich, he's not happy about this either. Syria Opposition hails U.S. strike, calls for continued action. The Syrian Opposition hails the U.S. strike, calls for continued action. ISIS is the opposition. Get it, people. Get this. He succinctly put it. ISIS is the opposition. There are no moderate rebels. The people that are in opposition to Assad, okay, the people that are not terrorists and they're voting against Assad, they're not the ones out there doing this. They're not ISIS. They're not Daesh. They're not armed. The people who demonstrate against Assad when they do demonstrate, they were demonstrating against policies. There's certain different things that they would demonstrate about. They didn't want him kicked out. They certainly didn't want him to be toppled. They want their country back. And we have destroyed the country already. Now, Senator Rand Paul did tweet. He said, while we all condemned the atrocities in Syria, the United States was not attacked. So basically it follows that the president needs congressional authorization for military action as required by the Constitution. This is exactly what Trump said, I do believe, to Obama back in the day. But now? So anyway, Glenn Greenwald says that the first senator to oppose Trump's bombing campaign on the merits as opposed to the process. CNN just said that this Syria is the first action Trump has taken, is most certainly not the last. Okay, please understand, I didn't say this. CNN said it. It is the first action Trump has taken and is most certainly not the last. How do they know? What do they know? How do they know Trump is going to do this again? Now, it's a smart move. Here we go. So we bombed Syria because Syria bombed Syria just to teach Syria not to bomb Syria. Makes sense, doesn't it? Uh-oh, here we go. Daesh terrorists attack Syrian armed forces army positions simultaneously with U.S. strike. Damn it. This just broke. Daesh banned in numerous countries. Terrorist fighters had attacked the Syrian armed forces at the same time in the same vicinity of the U.S. missile strike on airfield near Homs, an informed source told Sputnik. It's a coincidence that IS-Daesh fighters attacked one of the defensive positions of the Homs-Palmyra route simultaneously with the U.S. attack on Shirat. Why no airstrikes against the Saudis who have been arming the rebels who have been using chemical weapons many times? Good question. Trump bound Syria down the memory hole. Again, to our very foolish leader, do not attack Syria. If you do, many very bad things will happen from that. The U.S. gets nothing. President Obama, do not attack Syria. There's no upside and tremendous downside. Save your powder for another and more important day. Only reason why President Obama wants to attack Syria is to save face over his very dumb red line statement. Do not attack Syria. Fix USA. We should not attack Syria, but if they make this stupid move, do so. The Arab League, whose members are laughing at us, should pay. So I wonder his motivation for doing this. Posturing for China, he was having dinner with the Chinese. Posturing for Israel, that kind of makes sense because he's pissed them off too. Posturing for the media, he's pissed them off. Let's pick one. What does it matter? People are going to die. Chemical attacks have happened before. Thousands of kids have died in Syria before. Trump hasn't explained why he's flipped completely. Well, there it is. There's your answers. These are the kind of people in the government, always have been in the government. You really think it's about murdered kids? Right. It has nothing to do with murdered kids. That's their justification. Stanley Cohen, I can't believe I'm actually having anything in agreement with him for a while. Anyone who thinks tonight's illegal missile attack on Syria was about a chemical attack is lost. It was designed to save his presidency. That's a fact. Neocons got their way. How is it that the U.S. never did anything about Daesh using chemicals? But after McCain's gas attack, bam, Syria. Great job, Trump. Daesh launched an offensive after the U.S. strike. Bravo. Great job. Russian casualties. Brilliant. Ryan Dawson and a friend of his who's a military analyst, they were discussing the attack on Syria. Yes, there's very raw emotions there. Syrian military knew the U.S. raid was coming and evacuated personnel and equipment, ABC News stated. Tillerson's revealed late Thursday that the U.S. warned Russia that they would be bombing the airfield in Homs since there was military in the vicinity. Early Friday, that Syrian military seemed to know that something might happen. Eyewitnesses claimed the military then evacuated personnel and moved equipment before the strike took place. We don't know if this is true. So, we'll find out. We'll find out soon enough. Let's go ahead and take this. Defeated Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton made a rare public appearance on Thursday evening to come out and push for the U.S. to bomb on Syria. The former Secretary of State called for more U.S. international intervention while speaking at a Women of the World Summit in New York, saying that the U.S. should target Syrian airfields. That Air Force is the cause of most of the civilian deaths as we've seen over the years, and then we saw again in the last few days. And that's not true because he was on his way to peace talks. He was beating ISIS. This is not true. She's a liar, and she's a continuous liar. He's saying that they dropped sarin gas. Now, here's the thing. The sarin gas that they found is not from Syria. It's from Libya. Hello. The sarin gas is from Libya. It's been probably transported by Turkey. I've been saying it's been transported by Turkey. I'm pretty confident because if you remember Benghazi and all the weapons and everything that went from Libya over to Syria. Yeah, she and McCain are good buddies. Yeah, it's gotten pretty bad. It's gotten very bad. If somebody says, I wish somebody loved me as much as Hillary Clinton loves bombing brown people. Don't you know? The chemical attack has raised many eyebrows, however, as it came just days after the Trump administration stated that Syrians should decide who's running their country. See? Every time Trump makes nice, stuff happens. And it's false flags. That's all there is to it. So we know Hillary's an evil bitch. We got it. We don't need to know any more on that. Anyway, Saddam was allegedly harming his own people, so we invaded and killed around 2 million innocent Iraqi people and destroyed their infrastructure. Well, somebody was saying that I support extreme vetting. Syria has become really evil men coming from there. Many with fake passports. Wake up, liberals. I support extreme vetting too. What I don't support is the president's missile strike based on lies and neocon intel. Neera Tanden, she says, I'm not saying we should have a year-long debate on the use of force, but perhaps more than 24 hours between Trump doing a 180 on issue and bombing. So that was just a glimpse into Twitter and those of us who follow the news and who report news, we kind of spaz when we get news like this, big stuff like this, especially when it means the loss of life, when it means that we can be going to war, because don't think for a minute that Russia's going to just say, it's all right, no worries, hey, it's not going to happen. We have our hearts are going out to all those who have family members in the military, those of you who are in the military who's going to get caught up in this. And if we're lucky, we will not be invaded by Russia. And those of you who think that we're just the ultimate power and everything, we've got another thing coming, okay? Please do know that. Please understand that war is not a good thing. And stop with the exceptionalism. Our politicians have got people snowed. It's terrible. And we love you, and we don't want anybody to get hurt. Find your quantum connections at truthfrequencyradio.com.